Sit!
Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rich Dotson. He's Matt O'Hara.
Hey.
It's Garret Price.
How's it going?
And we're talking top 12 running backs for the 2025 season. Yeah, you can go listen to these redraft guys, but listen, we know we're talking about all year long, baby. We know how this is all going to play out. I don't think you knew this. My grandma's cousin's milkman was psychic.
Wow.
Whoa.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that usually skips a generation and a milkman. So I think you're in there, right?
I have the touch. I think I have the touch a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, you can find these guys like Ladd McConkey, devon, Achane, George Kittle. You know, I don't know where they're coming from. It's a gift. I don't know. Just a gift. So, and I have a gift for everybody else as well. Dynasty Nerd sub year round, biggest promo yet. You can't use that FastDraft promo because you're somewhere you can't touch it. I got something for you. Biggest discount we've given in a long time. Nerds 30% off. Our entire subscription. You're going to get all the new stuff coming out in the next 12 months, plus the complete access to the app. The app is the best Dynasty tool in the business. Go to your app store, download it. When they say, hey, time to check out, you got a promo code, you go, hell yeah, I got a promo code. That promo code is NERDS30. You're going to see 30% come off that bill. You're going to be like, this is super dope. I just saved a ton of cash. Black Friday is not too far away. I know this sounds crazy, but it's not too far away. So you're going to have some extra cash in your pocket. You're about to get yourself some good discounts on some games, some clothes, some smooches from the missus or husband or any kind of partner that you have. Because you just bought them some good stuff. Oh, yeah. Some smoochy boochies. My wife just bought me a great gift. I'm going to see Dave Chappelle this weekend in Yellow Springs, Ohio. That's how we're going to spend our anniversary, going to see a little Dave Chappelle for like that.
That's fun.
Time I've seen him. So smoochy boochies, bitches, get out there. Nerds 30. Check it out.
There we go. Done.
Running
backs. So let's get into these running backs.
Okay. I feel like this show is going to be a little bit of a shorter show because like what I want to do before
you cursed it.
Well, that's, well, Garrett, my grandma's best friend's milkman's aunt was a witch. So it all ties together.
Makes sense.
I think the running backs are going to be a little bit more chalky. I think where we might differ is possibly the order they go in, but I think it's going to be the back end of the 12 where we might differ. Because, like, listen, the top here, what are we talking about, right? Let me go through my top. I'm going to stop at 6 because I think 6. If it's not the same, I'd like to hear your arguments why it's not the same. But in order, let me give you my top 6. Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ashton Jeanty, devon, Achane.
It's the same with one exception.
Great.
One of those guys I do not have in the top 6.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Ashton Jeanty, I don't have in my top 6.
That's the one I don't have in the top 6.
Yeah.
You guys don't have Ashton Jeanty in your top 6?
And it's because the reason I know is because I hacked your email and I found your list. You got to change the Pussyfoot Price password on that thing, Garrett.
You got that same list, man. That's weird. I had Jeanty at 5 over Achane, man. I think he's just going to be smothered in touches, right? I mean, this is somebody who had almost 2,100 total yards last year, 30 touchdowns, has had a good camp, looked good in his last game. He's a really good in a passing game with over 200 yards in his college career. For a team that's going to go here that doesn't have a lot of weapons, right? Their number one weapon is Brock Bowers, their tight end, and then they have Jacoby Myers at receiver. And outside of that, you have Jack Bash, Dante Thornton, all nice upside guys, but this is a team that's probably going to struggle a little bit, and they're going to really rely on Ashton Jeanty. I think he's talented enough to finish here easily. And I think it's going to be the touches and targets that actually propel him to get him up here, the running back 5 overall. Personally, let me hear your guys' top 6. So I want to see who you guys bumped in. Might be my running back 7. Who you guys bumped in? Probably not, because my running back 7 is gonna be a little bit of a shocker, because not just to let you know, my grandma's cousin's milkman's brother was an electrician, so it might shock you.
Shocking. All right, so yeah, I got Bijan at 1. I have Jahmyr Gibbs at 2. I have Christian McCaffrey at 3, and then Saquon at 4, devon Achane at 5, and then at 6 I have Jonathan Taylor.
All right. Well, I guess we are 3 for 3 on slightly different top 6 then.
Oh, all right.
I have Bijan at 1, devon Achane at 2.
Wow.
Jahmyr Gibbs at 3, Christian McCaffrey at 4, Derrick Henry at 5, and then Saquon Barkley at 6.
All right. Well, just so you guys hate Jane Daniels, you guys obviously hate Ashton Jeanty. I wish you guys had shares of them in leagues we're in, because I'd just trade you like Derrick Henry straight up for him, because that's how
because it's a redraft league.
I think the most interesting thing here, Garrett, I think would be devon Achane at 6.
Yeah.
I had him at 6 or at 2. I have him at 6.
I'm surprised you had him that low, honestly. I'm curious why you're a little down on him compared to some of these other running backs.
He already has that little soft tissue issue now. I could see him missing a couple games. Most running backs do, but I can see him missing just a couple games, and he finishes running back 6. And on a points per game basis, he was like running back 3 overall. You know what I mean? Like something on those lines. That's where it was for me. And I think everybody above him was, outside of Jahmyr Gibbs, was like a 3-down running back as well. So, for me, that's why I bumped him down slightly. But to be fair, guys, like this top 6 outside of like the elite quarterbacks, which I feel really good about top 3, like this top 6 can fall any way possible of all those guys that I have there, and I wouldn't be shocked nonetheless, right? Like if Jeanty finishes running back 1 overall, I wouldn't be like, oh, wow, that's a shocker. If Christian McCaffrey is running back 1 overall, Saquon Barkley, who did it last year, Gibbs was running back 2 overall in PPR leagues last year, and people want to classify him as just like a PPR guy. No, the guy had 1,412 rushing yards and 517 receiving yards and 20 touchdowns, averaging almost 20 points per game. So Gibbs could easily be the number 1 running back overall. We know Bijan's probably going to get over 300 touches, and the fact that now they have a quarterback that can push the ball downfield, and Michael Penix might even open up some more things for a guy like Bijan. So all 6 of those guys are top tier A difference makers, because those are the 6 that I could feel could finish as running back 1. Like, I don't think Derrick Henry is going to finish as running back 1. I don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to finish as running back 1 overall. But if any of those guys did it, I'd be like, that makes perfect sense to me. So why do you, I can kind of see where you're going to go with it, Garrett, but please explain how you went through your projections and why you have devon Achane as your running back 2 overall for the 2025 season.
Yeah, really what it came down to overall was partly it was just, if you project out him being somewhere between his little bit of lack of efficiency in the running game, 4.5 yards per carry isn't terrible, but it's not anywhere close to where he was the year before when he was in the 7. If you average that out a little bit more, and he gets around 5 yards per carry, then all of a sudden that boosts up and even helps mitigate the risk of him maybe losing a couple touches here or there on the ground. But really, it's just comes down to is Tua playing? If Tua's playing, he was averaging well over 20 points per game when he was playing. He was on pace to be the number 1 overall running back if you were to just take the games he was with Tua. So I think that's the biggest thing is I think we see a few more long runs than we got out of him last year, a few more big explosive plays, and I think he remains almost identical to what he was last year in the receiving game. I actually have him with 1 less receiving touchdown and like 2 less catches, and it still put him here at number 2. So assuming, and that is a fairly big assumption, I'll admit, that Tua plays at least 14, 15 games, but assuming that, then I think we get a very good devon Achane season.
I don't have anything, negative to say about devon Achane. I have him at 5. He was at 5 last year. I do see a scenario where, his supporting cast is slightly more efficient than a 32 or wherever Raheem Mostert was last year. Ollie Gordon seems to be doing pretty good in camp. Obviously, Jalen Wright is there. Who knows
Madison's
if he's ever
already
gonna,
hurt.
Who knows if he's ever going to do anything? That Jalen Wright I'm talking about. But I think those two young guys can be nice compliments to a guy like Devon Achane, and nothing that's going to threaten his fantasy outlook severely, but I think enough just to keep him there at like 5 instead of being up there at 2.
Well, the interesting part is you look at my projections, you look at Bijan Robinson, 285 attempts, Jahmyr Gibbs, 230, McCaffrey, 230, Derrick Henry, 290, Saquon Barkley, 275, Jonathan Taylor, 285, Devon Achane, 190. Yeah, so it's not like I projected him with a lot of touches. That's the thing. He can afford to take those hits as long as the receiving work is still there.
Yeah, 190 feels about right for a guy like that, and I think he's going to be very efficient, like you had mentioned. I just not running back 2, like I don't know. I just feel like Jahmyr Gibbs for me, who's my running back 2, is going to get a lot of run, a lot of catches. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be kind of the guy there. I know obviously Montgomery's still there.
I would say Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, I'd argue is a bigger threat than Wright and
Ollie Gordon.
I agree with you on that note, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs does more between the tackles and is a better rusher of the football.
Agreed.
I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs, Rich mentioned, that he was the only guy that wasn't a 3-down back. I feel like he is a 3-down back. He just happens to have he just happens to have a 2-down thumper that's very good at what he does as a backfield mate. So
I want to bet that up, Matt, too. That's what I said. I was like, even though I say that, like, he is a rusher of the football. So I mentioned he had the 1,412 rushing yards. Like that's elite by itself on top of the 517 receiving yards. So he's not just that, like, you're right. He can get that. People want to assume Jahmyr Gibbs is just that PPR running back, but he's really not. He can actually move between the tackles, or more importantly, even get to the edge. Like he is behind the line of scrimmage runner.
In fact, his receiving numbers actually pale in comparison to a lot of the bigger players. Like he actually doesn't get as much work in the receiving game as I think people assume.
Yeah, he's somebody that is expensive, but Jahmyr Gibbs has a chance. Like we talk about Achane and finding those guys, and I said TreVeyon's one of those guys. Like Jahmyr Gibbs has the best chance to be the new Alvin Kamara, but possibly even better because the way he could rush the football. Once they could if they could tap into Gibbs' receiving game even more, that's his clear path to be the number 1 overall fantasy football running back. In 2026, if David Montgomery is not on this team, there's a very clear path for Jahmyr Gibbs to be the number 1 overall fantasy football running back and doing it year in, year out, and in that elite status of being a running back 6 times, right? Like he has that in him. He's that talented. Sure. And for a guy who goes right outside of, like Bijan, and then now you have Jeanty in here. To me, from a running back standpoint, he's probably pretty clear cut as a running back 2 overall in Dynasty right now, Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think he's closer to Bijan at 1 than he is to say Ashton Jeanty at 3.
I would agree with that.
So I think they're in the same tier of running backs there. So Garrett, you had Derrick Henry there in your top.
Got him at 5.
Yeah, at 5. Not a huge shock there at all for me. I had him all the way down at 8, but this is somebody who finished as running back 4 overall last year. An absolutely terrific awesome. The guy ran for almost 2,000 yards. He had 1,921 yards last year. He scored 18 touchdowns. And in this offense with Lamar Jackson just opens up so much. So when you look at Derrick Henry and like what he did last year, like broken tackles, right? Or yards before contact. I think he was he 4th? Let me go to PFF. He was 4th in yards before contact. He was one of his best yards after contact. He had 2.8 yards after contact last year. So I think he led the league in broken tackles as well. He's in such a good spot. I am worried about a guy like him who's now over the age of 30, who's got as many carries as he has, but we've been saying that now for 3 years straight. Like this guy's got a lot of tread on his tires, and he's literally just getting better. Like that's what it is. That's what it is. Doesn't offer a ton in the passing game, which could hurt him. But like he's so talented, even without being involved in the passing game heavily, he still was running back 4 overall. And then Matt, you had Jonathan Taylor in your top 6, which is this is a guy which Matt, what I loved about him here, because I had him all the way down at 10. And for somebody who's entering his 26, he's only be 26 years old this year. The addition of Daniel Jones is a massive bump for him. And when you look at him last year, he was running back 18. And that's impressive because he missed 3 games last year, Matt. And his 60,
I'm not points per game basis. He was 17.5 points per game. It was good for 7, running back 7 overall.
And that's you probably have him through week 18.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I don't week through 17, he was running back 11 with 16.9 points per game. But I think where that comes from, Matt, I think what's really impressive is I'm not going to rule out week 18 because when you look at his last 4 games of the year, because they had a late bye, like a real late bye. So they did. So it was actually, if you go over the last 5 weeks of the season, he played 4 games.
Week 14. Yeah, it was week 14. Yeah. Yep.
So he played 4 games over the last 5 weeks in the season. But in that span, he was running back 1 overall in points per game. And he averaged, also led the league. He averaged 23.7 points per game over those last 5 weeks of the season, Matt. Good for running back 1 overall. I think the addition of Daniel Jones in this offense, who offers some mobility himself, is a massive upgrade. So I think the fact that you have him there does not shock me at all, even though I have him at running back 10. What are other reasons why you love Jonathan Taylor here as a top 6 running back?
Well, I mean, I think, with the addition of Daniel Jones, I think it's a kind of a 2-part bump for him. Obviously the offense, I think, is going to just, there's going to be less times when the offense just stalls in the middle of a drive because off target throws from Anthony Richardson, but also down near the goal line. Instead of running their quarterback sneaks, they are going to be handing the ball. They're going to be turning around and handing the ball to Jonathan Taylor. And I think that can only work well for him and be a bonus for a guy like Jonathan Taylor down near that goal line. So I do think, that is a really important part to, I think, highlight on this whole thing with Daniel Jones being named the starter, for supposedly the entire year, is the way that the coach is saying it. Like, he's our guy all season. He's not on a short leash. I don't know what this kind of means for Anthony Richardson's future, basically. I mean, all this
sounds like he's already on his way out.
And then Anthony Richardson's agent is now angry at the Indianapolis Colts. Like, there is some weird stuff going on. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Richardson is in street clothes to start the season, or if he's off this team in short order. That none of that would shock me. It depends on how much they like Riley Leonard, through preseason and all that kind of stuff. If they've seen enough of him to feel comfortable, I think that would be wild. That would be a crazy ride. But what else do they have to lose? I mean, at this point, I think what you have in Anthony Richardson. Let's just go Daniel Jones, Riley Leonard. If it all blows up, we pick a quarterback next year. You know what I mean? It's going to blow up fantastically, and then you're drafting super high. What's the big deal?
I wonder if that would entice Arch at all. Like, I can go the Colts where
back to the Colts.
Peyton played if they had the 1-1. You know what I mean? Like, I say that about, like, the Browns finished the 1-1. Like, oh man, like Haslam's got a really good relationship with the Mans too, but we'll see how that plays out. So I love all those picks. Before we go through our 7 through 12 here, I got to tell everybody about our friends at myffpc.com, because your opportunity is, I think we only got about one more read or so with them. They're our not in season partner. We've been advertising with MyFFPC for 5 years now, because for us, we feel like they are the true GOATs when it comes to a hosting site for your Dynasty League. Because what do they offer? They offer our audience a safe place to go play Dynasty. And what does that mean? Like, it means you can go to a website and play in a Dynasty League anywhere from $75 to $2,500 and never having to worry about that league folding, because the league is never folded in the history of myffpc.com. And we all know, like, playing this game, it's what is the hardest thing not to do in Dynasty? It's not to join new startups. Like, it really is. Like, it's the bane of our existence. It's so hard to do because you're constantly getting better as you study the game and you put more time in the game. So you feel like if you get in a startup, you can make a difference, right? Like, now you know what you didn't know before, and you can
this time will be better.
Yeah, it's always funny how that works out. So my FFPC, like you might be tapped out for the people that you know, and you just don't want to join these random leagues that you find. And, you start to get a little worried because these teams are building redraft teams and you're trading your first for future years. And then it folds after 1 year. So check them out, myffpc.com. You got to make sure, though, you use the promo code NERDS so they know we sent you. And more importantly, they're going to give you free $25. I was talking about those smoochies. $25 goes a long way. That's a Five Guys burger, right? That's a salad from a bougie place. Get out there, use the promo code NERDS. Check them out. Promo code NERDS, free $25, myffpc.com.
And FastDraft, man, if you're trying to get that best ball itch scratched, it's the best place to go and do it. I'm in plenty of rabbit tournaments right now. It goes so fast that sometimes you'll miss the start of it. And if you miss the start, all of a sudden it's over. You're like, well, I guess I got to better look at what my team is because it's done. So you can finish an entire draft on a poop break. I've done it. It's literally possible.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. So head on over there. Use the promo code NERDS. Not only is it only going to cost you $10 and they'll double your deposit. I would recommend 50 personally. Get $100, but that's up to you. But if you just do that $10 and play in a tournament, we're going to give you everything we have to offer at Dynasty Nerds. Rich will even come over and rub your feet. That's how good of a deal this is.
Big news.
So head on over to FastDraft. Use the promo code NERDS. Get the full year with us, and you can win some crazy moolah as well.
Yeah. And you know what that happened? Every time my wife asks me for a massage, you don't want to know where that goes. You don't want me to come over and give me any kind of massage. Because there's only one way that's happening. I have a very strict rule when it comes to massages. This has got to end in one way.
That's Sean Watson over here.
Fantastic.
Fair. I only give my wife massages, Garrett. So we're in luck. It's like some contract we have, I think.
Some unwritten verbal or unwritten contract between you two. All right, perfect.
I had to sign some stuff before we get married. It's like legal, and now I guess I didn't even know. Like I know I was getting myself into. Can't go anywhere. So running back number 7 on my list. Do you just want 7, or do you want to go through 7 through 12?
Let's go 7 through 12.
All right.
Yeah, let's hear it.
7 is going to shock some people, but I am all in. Still doing the hokey pokey. Number 7, I have TreVeyon Henderson at number 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. High. At number 8, I got Derrick Henry. At number 9, I got Josh Jacobs. At 10, I got Jonathan Taylor. At 11, I got Bucky Irving. And at 12, I got Omarion Hampton.
Wow, you got 3 rookies in, huh? Fantastic.
Fresh legs, baby. Fresh legs.
At 7, do you want me to go through mine? Or are we dissecting yours? I can't remember.
2 years, and then whatever you want to do. Garrett's
I'm gonna go. Let's go, and we'll all just dissect. We'll get into it a little bit. At 7, I have Derrick Henry, so I do think he's gonna have a ton of carries, enough to keep him in this top 7-8 range pretty easily. But I could see him kind of getting tapered back just a hair this year. I feel like you can only have so many 300 plus carry seasons, and last year obviously he finished at running back 4. This year I got him at 7. I think he's going to dial it back just a little bit. At 8, I do have Ashton Jeanty there, so that's my one and only rookie actually to make this list. That's probably an oversight on my part. Now that I think about it, there probably is room for a second one in here. But at 9, I have Josh Jacobs. 10, Kyron Williams. Obviously, just Josh Jacobs. I was thinking Marshawn Lloyd might take some of his carries, but this dude's nicked up again and just cannot stay kind of healthy. So this is going to be year 2 of the Josh Jacobs show here in Green Bay. So I feel like it'd be foolish to drop him out of the top 12. Couldn't do it. Kyron Williams just signs the new deal. That's who I have at 10, and I just don't see a universe where he's not the 3 down back. I mean, obviously, if he gets injured, they've got some other guys. But they signed him to that deal. I think that's what they want to. They want to use him as same kind of logic behind James Cook, who's my number 11, and then Bucky Irving at 12. He was 13 last year, but obviously had the slow start. I don't, he's not going to be having to fight for touches early on the season, so he could potentially be higher than 12. But I did want to make sure to at least get him in my top 12.
And you mentioned that where he finished, Matt. Weeks Bucky Irving didn't become the starter until week 6. And from week 6 to week 17, because that's when the season ends, he was running back 9 overall.
Yeah, that's why I said I could see him definitely finishing higher than this. But I felt pretty good about the other guys above him, so I at least wanted him in my top 12.
All right, and then my 7 through 12, I have Jonathan Taylor at 7. So you got him in the top 6. I technically didn't, but we're only one spot apart there, Matt.
Yep.
Then I have Josh Jacobs at 8, Bucky Irving at 9. Then I have Ashton Jeanty at 10, Alvin Kamara I got in there at 11, and then Kyron Williams at 12. I'll be honest, the one I feel the most trepidation with is Alvin Kamara. He's been so good for so long, but this team is just going to be so bad. And on one hand,
hot mess.
That could spell great news. They're just throwing the ball like crazy, and he's constantly breaking tackles to try to get him back in games. On the flip side, this could be such a lost season that they're like, maybe we could get another year or two out of Kamara if we just kind of scale it back and just suck. So he's the one that I have the most trepidation with inside my top 12.
All right, so circling back here to my number 7, TreVeyon Henderson, and neither of you. I have him at number 7. Neither of you guys have him in your top 12. And
couldn't do it. I wanted to, couldn't do it.
For me, it all comes down to like, where do I find a path for a guy who's going to get a majority of the touches on their team, but more importantly, who's the pass catching running back on these teams as well. Even though that the Patriots have a really strong defense, I still think they'll be playing from a negative game script. And, TreVeyon Henderson has been nothing short of stupendous for the opportunities he's got in the preseason. And this was a player that I had as my number 2 overall player. And that's why when I said I was going to take him over Omarion Hampton, I wanted to end – it's always my last rookie draft of the year, this home league that we're in. And for that one, I was going to tell myself, Hampton was the right pick. He's a first-round running back. He's a 3-down back. He does everything really well on a team that's going to run the ball first. It's why I have him as my running back 12, right? Hampton's going to – Najee's still not practicing. Hampton's going to get all touches. They're going to be a run-first football team. He can do everything. Hampton's a guy like that is going to finish as a running back 1. So I don't know how you guys don't have him as in your top 12, because he's just naturally going to fall in that. He doesn't have to be even fantastic at what he does. He's just going to naturally fall in that for how many touches he's going to get. But for TreVeyon, I had him ranked significantly higher off the tape, right? He was my number 2 player in a tier by himself in this class, in a super flex class. I eventually moved Hampton up. I moved Cam Ward up to that tier, but on the tape alone, Henderson was in that class all by himself. He's a tremendous pass catcher running back. He is one of the best pass blocking running backs I have ever seen, ever doing this in the game of watching film. And I think he's clearly shown us already. He's going to be the focal point of this offense. When we think of the new, like you mentioned, you're super excited about Drake May, Garrett. I like Drake May too. I think this year, his sophomore year, is going to be another development year for Drake May, and he's going to take another step forward to get us more excited. But I think in 2025, the whole focal point of this offense is going to be TreVeyon Henderson. If you told me pick a player who's probably going to see the biggest jump in Dynasty ADP after the 2025 season, my vote would be TreVeyon Henderson. I have him here at 7. He could finish higher because I think he's going to catch the ball enough. I think he's explosive enough. We're going to see some big runs off of him. I think for me, TreVeyon has no real competition. A guy like Antonio Gibson has done nothing. Ramondre Stevenson was a real nice story, a very solid running back. Was super excited for him to get that extension. I actually liked his tape coming out. He was a name that we mentioned, hey, this is a lower guy. I think he could do something in the right situation before he even went to the Patriots. But at the same time, Ramondre Stevenson hasn't averaged over 4 yards a carry over the last 2 years as well. They need some up in this offense. They need some go. And right now, when your number 1 guy is 31 years old, Stephon Diggs come off an ACL injury, this clearly tells me that TreVeyon Henderson is going to be the guy in this offense. I think he explodes onto the scene. I think he's a running back 1. I think he's a top 7 fantasy football running back in 2025. I think not only is going to be the rushing yards that he gets, which I think is going to be close to about 1,000 yards, right around there, I think it's going to be the receptions. I think he'd easily catch over 50 footballs this year and kind of entertain and get into that 500 receiving mark. And that's going to put him in not just a running back 7, that could potentially push him up. The rushing yards get where he needs to be, which I think can go over 1,000 yards because we're playing 17 games and he's so explosive. We could see him rushing for a 90-yard run every like third game or so. Like that's how explosive he is.
90?
So he could, these big runs where they kick the ball back. They're at the 10-yard line. And he's a 90-yard run.
Those big runs that never happen in the NFL. Those ones, 90-yard runs.
I'm being overly optimistic right now. I'm just seeing the sky's the limit for this kid.
60 maybe I can see, but rarely you're ever even in the position to get a 90-yarder.
I know. You're right. Games. I was wrong. I got a little bit ahead of my skis here, but I think it's a PPR game. The fact that he's going to get the carry. Listen, very similar to Jahmyr Gibbs. Very similar is what I see. I think he's the guy. I don't see Achane can get there. I think Achane's so explosive. I don't think he has the body style to get there. I think TreVeyon could get up into that Gibbs. And I know that we just talked about it. Like there's a tier by themselves, Gibbs and Bijan. I think Henderson has a shot to get there. I think he's that talented of a player.
Hey, Nerd Herd, want to tell you about a show that we've been doing live on YouTube where we go over your teams and we talk about how to fix your broken roster. It's called Roster Rescue. We do it live every single Monday at noon Eastern time. And if you want to get a part of that, just head to our Dynasty Nerds homepage, go under the store tab, and you'll find Roster Rescue right there. Perfect opportunity to get your rosters in shape before the season or even in the middle of the season to make sure that you can win a championship.
You've convinced me. I'm taking Kyron Williams out. I'm putting him in at 10. How about that? So Kyron Williams is out of number 10, and TreVeyon
I don't know how
Henderson.
we can get 11 or 12. It's out altogether.
He doesn't even bump everybody down. We're just killing Kyron.
Nope, Kyron down. I can't take Bucky out, and I like James Cook too much.
Gibbs, he's out at running back 2. Just take him out.
This is my list. I can do what I want, Garrett.
I mean, listen, I'll say this again. He's another guy that what looks like an overpay today is an underpay tomorrow. I would be happy to give Bucky Irving plus for TreVeyon Henderson. I'd be happy to give Kyron Williams plus, Chase Brown plus. And with Chase Brown and Kyron, I would entertain even a first. Like I would entertain it in 26. That's how much I believe in TreVeyon Henderson, the 38th overall pick in the NFL draft. That is really good draft capital. We've seen running backs that go that high also have a ton of success in the NFL. So that's why I have him at 7. You mentioned Josh Jacobs, Matt, where he is still in his prime. He's 27 years old, which is crazy for how long he's been in the NFL. He came in at 20. Josh Jacobs is still in his prime, had a fantastic year last year. Outside of that one really off year with the Raiders, he's been a running back 1 pretty consistently, way more involved in the passing game, which we've been begging for forever. Caught his first passing touchdown last year. I think he's locked in as running back 1. We talked about Taylor Irvin, simple. And I mentioned with Omarion Hampton, I just think for how many touches he's going to get in that LA offense on a run first team, I just don't find it. Like I said, when we see guys, Garrett, you put that fantastic tweet out there when you talk about Jacory Krosky Merritt, but like I thought about like so many of those guys, like the reason they're there, like the James Robinsons, the Mike Davis. It's just because they found themselves in a situation where like there's nobody to compete with. And that's what Hampton finds himself in. But he's actually a first round running back that was taken really, really high with a really good offensive line. Even though they lost Slater, they still got a good offensive line on a run first team. So to me, that's why I had him at 12, because I don't know how he doesn't find himself that there without injury. So like bar injury, I don't know how he's not a running back 1. You guys go ahead and go through your rest of your list or rebut anything I said, but I'd love to hear your guys' opinion.
Let me touch on these two rookies because overall, I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying. I do think these are 2 really talented players that are going to get some good work this year and be very valuable assets right away. I'm just not ready to quite get there. Now, that being said, TreVeyon did end up as running back 13 for me, which felt a little too high. But at the end of the day, I think it's realistic. The biggest thing is the touchdowns. Like, that's what I want to see. Is he getting the work near the goal line, or is that where Ramondre Stevenson comes in? That's kind of one of the things I want to see. And also, when you have a Drake May, we've seen this a million times. The older quarterbacks tend to check it down a lot more to their running backs. The younger quarterbacks tend to take off and run. I think Drake May is going to be a guy that takes off and runs a little bit more. So that's my only hesitation, and why he didn't quite crack it.
Rebuttal. Garrett, how do you run 90 yards and not find yourself in the end zone? Touchdowns are going to be abundant.
That's a fair point.
That was exactly going to be my point, Rich. I'm glad you were the one that said it.
He gets hawked down at the 2-yard line after a 90-yard run so many times. Dang it, not again.
Every 3 games, that's at least 5 touchdowns.
TreVeyon's had 8 90-yard runs, but he's only scored 3 touchdowns this year. How is this happening?
Weird. That'd be such a weird stat. Like when Trey McBride had all those catches
runs
and
out of gas.
Going down to 1, like just had no touchdowns forever. Just insane, dude.
Insane.
So that's part of it. And Rich, I'm with you. I do have him near 1,000 yards. I have him with 195 carries for 956 yards. So just below that 1,000-yard mark. So that's the thing for me is I just don't know if he'll get quite the passing volume we want, and we'll have to see about those touchdowns. Omarion Hampton, he ended up at running back 15 for me, so not crazy far off. It's the passing game work that I'm not sure about still as well for him. That was the thing that held him back a little bit in my projections.
I mean, last year he had 38 catches, 373 yards. Like he's very
I'm not saying he's not capable. I don't
going to use him there.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to get over 250 touches there in LA, and that's where I got him there.
I have him at 245 attempts. So I do see the ground usage. It's the passing game that I didn't give him a ton. We did not see Justin Herbert check it down a lot last year at all. So we'll kind of have to see. They did a lot of design stuff for Austin Eckler. They did not check the ball down a lot to the running backs last season. So because Dobbins had hardly any receptions last year during his time.
I cannot remember the stat or who tweeted it, but there was some crazy, and so I'll try to do some more digging before next show or something, but there was a stat about the PPR running backs in Jim Harbaugh's system never finishing as like a running back 1. So I want to dig into that, and it might be because of usage in the passing game, to your point, Garrett. So I'll try to get those numbers pulled together for next week. If I can't find the tweet, I'll just manually find them and figure it out myself. So
yeah, you mentioned that during the draft, Matt. You're like, hey, did you see that stat about like Jim Harbaugh's running backs never finishes running back 1? So I'm like, oh no, I didn't.
And it might just be, he shares the workload. There isn't a lot in the passing game, so they just don't have the volume in order to kind of get there. So I'm going to dig in and I'll bring that kind of to the table next week.
To be fair, I'm trying to remember, like, when he was in San Francisco, who were his running backs? Like, did he have good running backs?
I'll dig into it, and I'll get you the numbers next week. Can't remember.
He needs a shovel, Garrett. Let him go ahead and go out there.
All right. I was just curious.
I feel like, again, I mean, all these guys, I feel like we're on the same page. We talked about Bucky. You guys mentioned James Cook. I'm out on James Cook being a running back 1 again because I do see touchdown regression. He only got there last year on the 19 touchdowns compared to the fact that he had 4 total his first 2 years. So I do see some touchdown regression there from James Cook. Very solid running back overall. Besides that, most of us are pretty much on the same page here for everybody else. We all had Bucky in. We all have Taylor in. We all have Josh Jacobs in. Wait, did you have Josh Jacobs in, Garrett?
Yeah, I did. He's at running back 8 for me.
Okay. So I think like where we different is I have the 2 rookies in TreVeyon, and now Matt's got TreVeyon too. He bumped Kyron out. So you guys, I think it's James Cook and Alvin Kamara are pretty much our difference here.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that is it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which means I'm clearly right on this because Hampton's going to finish higher than Kyron.
I am very surprised you guys don't have Kyron in. We've seen him do it like for multiple years, and he got a contract extension. So I am a little surprised that you guys don't have him in.
Yeah, that's why, because we've seen those running back stats. Odds of being a running back 1 3 times, pretty low. Pretty low.
Pretty low.
Well, actually, not as low as it is doing it 4 times. But like, somebody had to be behind Hampton, and I'm predicting that Omarion Hampton and TreVeyon Williams finish higher than Kyron Williams, James Cook.
TreVeyon Williams.
TreVeyon Williams. Oh,
Cincinnati
wow.
running back. He's going to crush.
Yeah. Well, now
He's not.
he's in the Cleveland
He was forever. I have no idea where he is now.
He's in the Cleveland Browns.
He's on our team.
We have him? Wow.
They just
Yeah.
signed him.
Good
Now.
for us.
He just returned a kick or something, didn't he, in this past preseason game?
Yeah.
Good for
Once if Quinshawn Junkins ever decides to sign a contract because all of a sudden he wants guaranteed money, all guaranteed money, we'll see if he's still on the team.
We will have to wait and see. But that is that's our top 12s.
Shorter show we've done in a long time. Grateful.
Hashtag blessed.
We'll be back next week. Wide receivers and tight ends. It's going to get real wonky with the tight ends for sure. I can see the receivers being pretty the first six.
I think receivers will take a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's going to get a little wild there when I have.
It's going to be the top 4 or 5 are pretty chalky, and then after that, it's going to be all scattershot, dude. And it's going to be all over the place.
Hey, little teaser. I have Ja'Marr Chase as wide receiver 1.
I'm not giving it away.
Mr.
All right.
Consistent.
Well, tune in next week to find out and solve that mystery, Ruby Doo.
Adios.